I made the extremely tough decision to leave my husband last year after being with him for 21 years. We were married for 8 years. And my ex-husband is not a bad guy, wonderful father. But there were some things that would send people into orbit when I would tell them things. And I'm not exaggerating. My ex-husband did not tell me that he loved me. That was something that I accepted. We'll call it accepted, but now I see it as settling. I had accepted this about him, but what ended up happening is years and years and years of what I will consider emotional neglect. Unintentionally, I began to resent him. And there's a few videos that I want to make of things that I've learned, especially with us coming up on 1 year divorced, and what I learned about divorcing the good guy and what a villain that makes you.
Just imagine the ex-husband's perspective. Like, here he is marrying a woman that he thinks just completely accepts him and loves him, but she's actually just settling, and she says that she is accepting of him. But bottom line is that if you still feel a certain way about it, you're not really truly accepting it. You're just kind of pushing it down to the bottom of your feelings, which she then apparently continued to do through the relationship, which does build resentment. But from the man's perspective, he thinks that he's doing everything that he's supposed to be doing because he's a good man, and she sees him as a good man as well. But then many years down the line, after you have sacrificed so much for her and for your family, she blindsides you with a divorce. That man is probably devastated. And don't come into the comments and say, oh, she probably told him 10 million times. She admitted that it was silent. The one thing that she did get accurate in this video was that she was made out to be the villain. And that's what I always say to women that are about to divorce a good man for no good reason, is that you better be ready to be the villain. And if you have kids, you're ripping your family apart. You are impacting them in a very negative way. This should be avoided at all costs.
You guys were married for 21 full years, and you think that he doesn't love you? Septum ring theory strikes again, and it is once again confirmed to be true and undefeated. He has been taking care of you for the past 21 years, and just because he didn't yet say, I love you, all those years didn't mean he didn't love you. He showed you several times that he loved you by giving you everything you have ever wanted or desired. Why didn't she communicate this before resentment? Well, now, it doesn't matter if he was saying, I love you in his actions. She has always wanted to leave the marriage because she felt like she needed more on the outside. She would have used anything as an excuse to divorce him, but she just chose not saying, I love you. She didn't love him when she married him. She wanted her wedding and children and didn't have any more use for him. Now that she has gotten her payout and can chase bad boys again, there's someone she's leaving for. She's not leaving a good man to be single. A man doesn't just say he loves you. He shows it by making you feel safe, protecting you, giving you love and affection, and making sure you have everything you need. Would she prefer a guy who tells her he loves her 10 times a day but spends his day playing games and doesn't work? Communication is everything. She wanted an escape. At this point, men should be able to sue women over breach of contract. Divorce laws should be much stricter so that these women won't just wake up and decide to leave a good man. She didn't even say anything about how he or their children felt. She was busy talking about only her feelings. The me syndrome. A man will sacrifice his happiness for his family, but a woman will sacrifice her family for her happiness. I'm glad that he is free of her chains, and now she needs wine and cats.
So 80 to 90% of all divorces are women leaving men. Unpack that for us. I looked up the research, and it's 70% of women that are initiating divorce. Would you work at a company that only had a 30% retention rate for their employees? 70% of the employees are leaving the company. Would you think, oh man, these employees suck? Or would you think, what the hell's wrong with that employer that they can't keep any employees? So then I put my researcher cap on, and I read a lot of articles from psychologists who are doing all this marriage counseling to see what's really going on. And hands down, the women are mad. They feel tricked. They get into this marriage thinking that they're going to have a partner and they're going to have support. And the 3 biggest reasons that women are walking away from marriage is, number 1, their partner isn't emotionally intelligent and doesn't know how to emotionally connect. So there's no actual friendship between the husband and the wife. Number two, the women are carrying all of the mental load and emotional labor for the entire family, and it's exhausting. And number three, they're just not accepting abuse anymore. And abuse is defined as someone who tries to control you, manipulate you, or neglect you. And the statistics show that 50% of women, once they get divorced, don't remarry. They're done. But 70% of men will remarry. Because studies also show that marriage is much more beneficial for men. They live longer and they're able to make more money in their jobs because someone's holding things down at the home fort. And marriage is not beneficial for women. Men tend to rely on women to do all of the household labor, to do all of the mental load of making doctor's appointments, purchasing the things for the house, doing the cooking, the cleaning, and that the women are carrying the emotional labor as well. Meaning they're always trying to initiate connection and help regulate everybody's emotions better. I'll also add that only 27% of women say that they regret getting a divorce, whereas 39% of men say they regret getting a divorce. So the institution just isn't working for women much anymore. And so much of that has to do with the fact that men are struggling to regulate their emotions, to be emotionally intelligent, and to know how to emotionally connect with a woman, especially around the area of having empathy. So that's my interpretation of the statistics. What's yours?
Your analogy doesn't work. Women are more submissive to their boss, and they sure aren't to their husbands. Women benefit more than men in marriages, and you know this, but you chose to lie. Emotionally connect? What are you talking about? Men are not designed to be emotionally connected, and that's the main reason why there are so many divorces these days. A lot of hatred here. The emotionally intelligent phrase proves that. Men are not mind readers. Honest, open communication in the beginning is key. Most women want to get married for the wedding, not the actual marriage. If most women truly knew what it entails, they wouldn't want it so bad. Men asked for a partner and not an adult daughter. 70% women are looking for a provider and someone to take half of his wealth. Many divorces are filed by women because they prioritize their own happiness over their commitment as wives and mothers. In 2000, about 69% of divorces were initiated by women. This figure comes from a study that analyzed nationally representative survey data, indicating women were significantly more likely than men to initiate divorce during that period. 90% divorce rate if they are college educated. Courts favor women highly to leave their marriages at will. Divorce rates in lesbian marriages is 70% as compared to 25% in gay and heterosexual marriages. So no matter what company you go and work for, if you still get fired, laid off, or leave, and if you blame the employer, then you are the problem, and this means that it might be an employee issue versus company. It kind of points the finger at women, don't you think? Listen, there's nothing a man can't do or fix. Can you say the same about women? Men don't need women. They will do just fine without women, and let's see out how you will live in a world without men.
Alright, I'm gonna say it. Some of y'all aren't gonna like it. Doesn't make it any less true. Here we go. A lot of really good men are leaving marriages. Why is that? Is it because they fell out of love? Or is it something else? A lot of what we're seeing now is men leaving marriages, not because they've fallen out of love, but because they feel unappreciated within that marriage. Now, these guys, they work all day, they provide, they make sure you're safe, they make sure you're taken care of. What do they get in return? A lot of them are getting criticism for what they didn't do, as opposed to the thankfulness for what they do. Men are not like women. They don't need a big show of affection. They don't need a parade. They don't need constant gifts. But what they do need is appreciation, gratitude, respect. What they want to hear is that the person they're working so hard for, or the family that they're working so hard for, to say, we appreciate all that hard work you're putting in. We see you. When a man feels unappreciated at home, doesn't matter how much he loves you, at a certain point, he can't keep continuing to pour from an empty cup. He's going to stop trying to pour into a cup that's continually empty. He's also going to stop pouring into a cup that constantly is looked at as half full.
Words don't mean much, but actions do. Every marriage should come with a prenuptial agreement that should be enforced, so that these narcissist women won't have any reason to falsely file for divorce out of the blue. Men are providers and protectors, but they tend to stop when these women take them for granted. Men can't be talked down anymore. When a man says he's quitting, the reasons didn't just start. He has suffered in that relationship or marriage for a very long time. He walks out to save himself. It has been known that Western women don't like good men. They love the bad guys more than anything. A woman will marry a man, not just because she loves him, but because she wanted to secure her own future by divorcing him at some point and making away with half of his resources. When a man loves himself, he doesn't need any relationship, but when two people who have learned to love themselves individually comes together, then you will have what is called a soulmate. Women are not capable of loving themselves, and that is why they can't love another person. Men are criticized for helping, working, providing, etc. Men are not always respected and appreciated. Men don't even want anything to do with marriages anymore, because it is not something that benefits them. Peace seems more desirable to them than anything else. A man will do everything for a woman, and when she falls out of love or become bored, she will tell the man that he didn't do anything for her, or that she didn't persuade him to do all that for her. Men should start taking care of themselves and forget about marriages, because it is not worth the risk. Men should prioritize their peace much more than chasing women or trying to get married, because it will not only ruin your life, but also destroy every last remaining existence you have. Men should chase money and not women. Chase peace and not drama. Chase life and not death. Men want loyalty, respect, and to be valued. If a woman can't give them the above mentioned, then it is worthless to be with her.
One of the reasons why men run from marriage is because of what it requires from them. Some of the things that I think are required from men in marriage are accountability, transparency, and vulnerability. And if you think about what men are told to be, is really the opposite of that, right? They're meant to be guarded, strong, hyper-masculine, not let their guard down. And marriage requires you to strip all of that back and be seen. Marriage really requires you to stand in the light, stand in front of your partner with all of the things that you've been hiding from the rest of the world visible, and break. And this breaking sometimes requires tears, but really it's a man saying, this is where it hurts. This is where I've hidden myself from everybody else. And these are where my wounds are, really. I feel for any marriage to be successful, a man must be able to feel he can break. And a woman must be able to receive the pieces that she's given. And I actually think this is really hard for women. I think they can receive the pieces of their girlfriends, right? When your friend is crying to you, you're more than happy to hold her, tell her everything's going to be okay. Because of the effects of patriarchy, because of how we are conditioned, when men show up sensitively, when they are vulnerable in front of us, we actually think that they're weak. And we have to unlearn this. We have to reject the idea that a man showing you where it hurts means that he isn't strong. And I think another toxic thing that women do after the fact is weaponize this weakness. So in conflict, this thing might be brought up and thrown back in your partner's face. And this is one of the most dangerous things you can do to a man, because then he learns that you can't be trusted. Then he decides that he can't break in front of you. And that doesn't mean that he's not broken. That doesn't mean he doesn't need your healing hands, your healing touch, your healing love. It just means that he will never, ever offer that to you again.
Any woman who uses his man's weakness for exploitation does not deserve any good thing in life. If a man doesn't feel safe to share his worries to you, then he should immediately leave the marriage or relationship. A woman will weaponize a man's weakness and then wonder why the guards go right back up and way higher, because the trust has been lost. A lot of women will watch this clip and they will still be confused as to why men never opened up. The laws are in favor of women. If a man asks for a prenup, a woman will think that it is because a man knows the relationship will fail. Women marry for security and nothing more, nothing less. Men want and need respect from these women, and of which they don't have. You have to quit using female attributes to set expectations on men. All these you are requiring from men can't be found in women. Women lack accountability, transparency, lies a lot, and can't be held responsible for their own actions. Men dodge marriage because women don't know how to be women, and the system does men over. I'm even curious to know why women want marriage so bad, considering how they get the short end of the stick and how they have been telling men that they don't need them. Accountability for women is like fighting in a war with no means of winning. Marriages these days require a lot of money, and has never been about the man. As a man, getting married shouldn't be your number one priority, because it can all end within seconds when the woman feels like she doesn't love you anymore and everything you have ever built for will just fall apart. Fellas, stay single and get your stacks up. Travel around the world, play video games, gym up, love what you do, and only then you will understand that there is no love greater than loving yourself.
Really, there are not enough wives to go around. There are not enough wives to go around for the average man. There are more OnlyFans workers, sex workers, and cam models than there are teachers in this country under the age of 35. And when we look at the average woman, 1 out of 3 has had an abortion, 1 out of 4 has had an STD, and 90% have been on birth control at some point in their lives. I would argue that it is not always in men's best interest to get married. Imagine, okay, you had to sign, you got a contract, and this contract says that your partner has all of the leverage. And this contract says your business partner is paid to leave you. Yes, they're paid to break this contract. And this business partner will be rewarded for ruining your life financially and emotionally. If we take the religion out of it, because the facts don't care about your religion, I'm sorry, I'm a Catholic, but we have to be honest here. You would never sign that contract. But the truth of the matter is, until child custody laws change, you will not see women act different.
Marriage is a contract with serious and heavy consequences. Family unit is over in the United States. Who invented marriage anyway? You have a partner that leaves you because she is bored or has an affair. The human condition is wrecked. There's no benefit for a man to get married, and the divorce court needs to be reformed, including child support, alimony, etc. And as far as child support goes, it should be a dollar amount and not a percentage. Child custody and support laws must change, or men will continue to go their own way and forget everything about marriage. The legal process for custody and divorce in general are about 70 years out of date. The contract needs to change, but because the government is in support of this heinous and outrageous divorce, child support, alimony, and family courts, they have overlooked it and pretended as if nothing is wrong with it. If as a married woman and you go to apply for food stamps, they will ask you to divorce your husband if you want to be in the system. Isn't that crazy? It is. It has never been in a man's interest to get married because the law is against men, and 50% of these women causing all these problems are obese and entitled. Men shouldn't settle for less because a woman wouldn't. Stay single, leave all the drama behind. It is not worth the BS. Men should know that finding solitude is the end goal, and you will have a very big fat bank account that will be growing exponentially. Men, never sign a contract when there is an incentive for the other person to break it. Marriage will soon be a lost concept in this Western culture. There are plenty of good wives, but not just in America. Fellas, get your passport, travel overseas, and find yourself a good wife.
So I would love to get married again, but now it seems like men don't want to get married anymore. Like, why is this? Can't we just get a prenup and be happy and be married? I get it where there's so many people that just live together and they live a married life, but they don't actually get married. Are people at least getting rings still? So at least you can show, like, I'm taken when you're out and about if you don't want to get married. What is the real reason men don't want to get married anymore? Is it money? Is it they've already had half of their stuff taken from a divorce, so they're bitter? I'm really curious. I feel like the partnership that comes with marriage is just a little bit different than if you're just dating someone, because they can always cut bait and jump ship because there's nothing to lose. When you do have, like, skin in the game, I feel like people would be more up to, like, work through challenges, try to figure it out to stay together, versus if you're never married, it's easier just to be like, okay, fight and run away. But are guys really not wanting to get married anymore? Let me know in the comments.
Ask the men leaving the courthouses if they want to get married again, and you will definitely get your answer. No, in most cases, it is a poor investment. The woman gets rewarded for breaking the contract. What is actually in a marriage for a man? What is the benefit of a man getting married if the woman can just wake up one day and leave with everything he has ever worked hard for before he even met her? It is not worth it at all. Men are tired of being taken financially and emotionally advantage of. They are tired of being abused and insulted. Men don't want to lose half of their assets. A woman having a ring on her finger doesn't mean she can't cheat. In 66% of divorces, it is the woman who initiates the divorce. Apparently, it is the woman who does not fight to keep the relationship together, but more often the opposite. Women don't honor their marriage vows anyway, so why make it legal? A piece of paper doesn't keep them from leaving or cheating. In fact, it motivates women. Marriage is a contract where the woman is incentivized to break the contract and combined with a culture that considers divorce acceptable if she is unhappy, which inevitably happens in all. And by the way, most times, prenuptial agreement becomes a joke because they are routinely thrown out in most cases because it doesn't hold water. So, it is better to stay single, enjoy your life than to look for troubles when you can easily avoid them.
Right now, even men at 50 with success and everything going for them are walking away from marriage like it's radioactive. And it's not because they can't find partners. It's not because they're broken. It's because they have done the math. And the math is ugly. They say the divorce rate is around 56%, which is not good. But that's the polite number. That's the number that helps people sleep at night. The real number is much higher. Count the couples who are staying together just for their kids, or for the mortgage, or for health insurance, or for just the fear of starting over. That number jumps up to 70 or 75% very easily. I mean, that's 3 out of 4 marriages that are dead or dying. And men are finally waking up to it. They see their friends destroyed in family court. They see their fathers work until they die for families that they don't even get to see. They see the game and they decide not to play. Not because they hate women, not because they can't commit, but because the risk is just too high and the reward is too small. And here's the part that should really scare you. 86% of divorced people get married again within 5 years. Think about that.
No man in his right mind would want to get married in this society. No wife equals happy life for men. Dating, relationships, and marriage are practically impossible in this current Western society. Our society is no longer compatible to sustain or even establish a peaceful home. The government has monetized everything. If you base your marriage on love and there is no adult conversations, and besides the idea of being in love forever, they say statistically that those feelings fade within the first 18 months to 4 years, and if you base your marriage on love strictly, it is almost guaranteed to fail. Everyone's path is different, and it is okay to nurture and work on it. There are even higher chances of divorce rates for second and third marriages. Most older or divorced men will tell you not to get married because women are more loyal to their emotions than anything else, and their emotions can actually change at any time unexpectedly. It sucks that people are forced to stay in bad marriages for health insurance and the need to live with someone to afford life. Marriage is like playing Russian roulette with your life's work. As a man, you should know that something is seriously wrong when your wife is cheating and the courts rewards her. The modern woman is not a marriageable at all, and if mistakenly you do get married anyway, just expect a divorce because over 70% of women are the ones steadily filing for divorce. The return on investment in marriages is typically zero, and the investment is bad. Men are literally going their own way now. Passport Bro is a 1,000% better prospect of success.
Fellas, the fact of the matter is, we save money being single. Women save money being in a relationship. So what that says to me is, if we don't find somebody equally yoked, bringing value to the table just as we bring value, filling our cup just as we fill their cup, we're only being sponsors. If you plan on being a sponsor for a woman, you're basically going to be used up and then left for somebody else to be their sponsor, because they're not valuing who you are, they're valuing what you provide. So always make sure somebody's providing the same amount, if not more energy into you than you do to them, and that way we don't feel stranded or played at the end of the day. You feel me? That $30 lunch could have been $10 if we were alone. So If we spending $30 on lunch for 2 chicken bowls and an extra drink, you know what I mean? Make sure you got somebody who's at the house taking care of you at the end of the day. Making sure that she giving you that foot rub, that shoulder massage, whatever it is that you need that tension relief on. Make sure they meeting you. It don't have to be financially, you know what I mean? Even though women can make as much or more than a man these days, we don't even ask for y'all money. We just ask for the things that's free. To please a man is free. To please a woman is a fee. Stay chosen.
It has been proven beyond reasonable doubt that men basically save more money when single than when they are in relationships. Women wanted equal rights, and if she is not spending on you, don't spend on her. If a man spend all his time and money chasing a woman, and soon, he will be alone and broke, but if you spend your time making money, then the women will chase you. I have been saying this for some time now. Given the rules most women are willing to play by, men tend to have more disposable income when single, while women tend to have more disposable income when in a relationship. Men who live well aren't looking to downgrade their lifestyle in the process of adding an adult to the budget. Escorts seem to bring the same thing women bring to relationships these days, but with less demands, maintenance, a set price, and they are professionals. If she is stashing away her cash, that's a warning sign. She must have a different agenda than being in that relationship. Another thing is that the women you attract is directly tied to the means you used in attracting them. That is, if you use money to impress women, you will attract women that want your money. To please a man is free, but to please a woman is a fee. Fellas, stay single and stay chosen. Marriages, relationships, and dating are not worth the headache. It is better to be alone and stack up than to be miserable. Measure twice, but cut once.
There's a huge disconnect happening between men and women right now, and I want to share something I've been realizing about why men seem to be getting better while most women are struggling more. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Men have all these platforms teaching them accountability and how to level up. But when I look at what we as women are consuming, it honestly made me realize something important. Men have podcasts like Fresh and Fit and Jocko podcast teaching discipline, Jordan Peterson teaching accountability, David Goggins teaching mental toughness, and there's so many more. They're consuming content that pushes them to build themselves up and take responsibility. But I started noticing what we as women are consuming. Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Call Her Daddy, Girls Gotta Eat, Real Housewives, Love Island, and there's just so many more. And I realized this content is programming us to create more drama, feel more entitled, and expect things without bringing anything valuable ourselves. I see influencers like Shira7, Miss Sprinkle Sprinkle, teaching manipulation tactics, and others like Ari Keitsia, if that's how you say it, promoting OnlyFans culture, teaching us that our value comes from our sexuality instead of building actual skills or character. So we have reality TV teaching us drama, podcasts teaching us entitlement, and influencers teaching us toxic behaviors. While men are learning discipline, accountability, and how to build real value. I think the reason men don't consume this toxic content is because they don't tolerate drama. But we as women tend to be more drawn to emotional and social content, which makes us more susceptible to this programming. And the media industry knows this and exploits it. And here's what I've noticed. Whenever a woman tries to hold other women accountable, we get defensive and attack her for it. I keep seeing comments saying, this applies to men too, and although you're right, here's what I have observed. Men seem more willing to consume content that challenges them, while we gravitate toward content that validates us. The accountability content for women exists, but we're less likely to engage with it positively. When women try to help other women grow, we often get called pick me or accused of having internalized misogyny. Men have an entire ecosystem telling them to take responsibility and work harder, and they listen. We have way more content telling us we're perfect as we are and that our problems are someone else's fault. I've realized that most of us don't want to be challenged. We prefer to be validated in our dysfunction. Meanwhile, men are embracing tough love and actually improving themselves. Men are consuming content that makes them better. We're consuming content that makes us worse. And then we wonder why there's such a disconnect. If we want better relationships and lives, we need to start consuming content that challenges us to grow, not content that validates our worst behaviors.
Advice for men starts with you must, while advice for women starts with you deserve. Teaching manipulation while men are learning the cheat codes because feminists want to be men by all means. Single women keep women single, and these women will still not understand why men are checking out of the dating and marriage scenes, thereby kindly going their own way without even thinking twice or looking back. Men consume content that challenges them, while women consume content that validates them. You nailed it. Men are taught, you aren't the center of the universe. Not everything is about you, and be someone that gives others strength. But women will just hear, you deserve a rich man, and you shouldn't do anything for a man. Men moved on from everything when women stopped pairing with them and married feminism and the government to destroy men. The punishment for not improving as a man is much more severe than that of a woman. Masculine energy grows in challenge, while feminine energy grows in praise. There is going to be an epidemic of single women in their 30s and 40s that will never get married because of the current culture. Men hold each other accountable while also uplifting each other. You will see lots of bullying when a man is extremely overweight, but an insane amount of applause when a similar person is in the gym. Yes, it is offensive and mean, but accountability and praise is how we get better. Men are rational and pragmatic. Life is easier for females and harder for males. Hard creates an urgency to change, while easy leads to being content and comfort. In all of these, men want nothing but peace, happiness, and freedom. Today's video has ended. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section. See you all on the next video. Thanks for always sticking with us.